What's going on, everybody? So, you asked for it, and I'm gonna deliver. This is the best, craziest HPS, heals per second. It is insane, this healing build. I'm gonna show you guys step by step, a deep dive, exactly what you wanna go for gear, stats, gameplay, how to just use it in general, and how you can clear and heal M10s all day long, under 30 minutes, consistently with this healing build. Now, it's a little bit unconventional. It's something that I just found out about. I've been using it, and it's just taken my game to just a whole nother level. And it's insane. I'm going to be running some OPRs tonight and, testing it out. This probably already is a great war build in invasions, but I'm using it in mutations, and I'm going to show you guys how effective it is. And I'm also going to show you some gameplay. This is the same build that I use to kill Scylla in an M10 Lazarus without getting a single orb, and it's not just the heals. It takes a good group, a good tank, or an amazing tank, amazing DPS, but it also takes a great healer. And I'm going to show you guys one piece of that puzzle, and that's the healing build. So yeah, let's get right into it. And if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. You can join my Discord. I'll throw that in the description. And if you guys want any tips, like I said, mainly questions, just let me know, hit me up, and I'd love to talk to you and show you guys what I do and answer some questions. So I guess we'll start out with the gear first. And since I'm right here, why don't we just dive right in? Oh, do you guys like my new look? This is my new look, by the way. I thought it looked kind of cool. I'm going for like a Viking thing. 𝙏𝙖𝙢𝙎 says he doesn't like it, but who cares what 𝙏𝙏𝙢 thinks, right? So anyway, so this is the gear that I'm running. So I figure I'll start with the gear first. So this is a light build, a light healing build. So anytime you run light, you're going to want to get a medium chest. All right. Now the thing that really makes this build is obviously, all the focus, but these perks. So for this build, best in slot is going to be the Sagacious hat and the Sagacious pants. Everything else you can kind of, mix up. Actually, with this build, it's really, really nice. I would almost say go as far as saying, it's a requirement to get Revitalizing Beacon somewhere in here. Revitalizing Beacon is going to be amazing for self-healing because, it increases the heals by 38%, almost 40% for yourself. And there's going to be times where you're going to need to heal yourself and you're not going to have Light's Embrace. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But this build, just to get it out of the way, is going to be using Orb, Beacon, and Sacred Ground. Okay, so you're going to want the hat for the Fortifying Sacred Ground. You're going to want the legs for the Mending Protection, because it increases the healing power by 24% for 3 seconds if they have less than 50% health, and that's actually pretty cool. It does help a lot. And so yeah, we're gonna want the Orb perk, the Sacred Ground perk, and if you could find it, the Beacon perk. These are all going to be great. And when you get all three of these, and you'll just have to try it out and see, guys, it is amazing. Now, the other big perks that you're going to want to get are anything with refreshing. Refreshing is amazing. Refreshing is absolutely amazing. And if you're healing, you've got to have a Will of the Ancients. There's no other staff that really can compare with the refreshing move, the refreshing and bless. It's crazy. Now, I would probably, if I could find it, and I want to do some more research on crit. If you can find a life staff with crit, blessed, and refreshing move, I might drop the refreshing. I'm not sure. I want to test it out. I want to do some more research, and I'm gonna definitely look into it, because if our heals can crit, I know Light's Embrace can crit, but this healing build is all about AoEs and heal over times. You're going to be healing with Beacon, Sacred, and the Orb of Protection. So I'm not sure which one of those crit. I'm going to have to look into it. And if anybody knows, leave it in the comments and let me know. So That's going to be your life staff, Will of the Ancients. So you're going to want to get as much refreshing evasion, You know, I mean, that's the main stuff that you're gonna want. You know, the obvious perks, you know, for Sacred Ground and stuff, and then as much cooldown reduction as you can get. Cooldown reduction is gonna be key. Shirking Energy is also a great one. You want stamina. I mean, you're gonna be rolling around the ground all the time. You're gonna have to constantly be dodging. Why? Because you're gonna be healing so much. I mean, this is like a raw power healing build. It is insane the amount of healing you're gonna be doing. And with all that healing comes a lot of aggro. So you're gonna need as much stamina as you can get. If you can find like a ring with Hardy on it for more stamina, that would be amazing, and get 3 dodges. That's what I'm looking for. So I want a ring with, you know, Sacred, Hardy, and Refreshing. That's what I'm looking for. And if you can find that, snag it up, but it's gonna be expensive. So hopefully you get it as a drop. But yeah, you're gonna want as much stamina as you can get. So the Shirking Energy is amazing. Your Refreshing Evasion is going to work, Refreshing, anything like that. And also I'm using Voracious Blade because I'm using Void Blade, so that's also a pretty good option. So that's the gear setup, you know, all light with the medium chest. I told you guys all the perks that you want to get, you know, in focus, con, doesn't matter. You can, you know, even it out later on. And then these are what I'm going to be what I run for my jewelry. So again, Refreshing and Health, 2 must-haves for this build. So Keeper's Pendant's amazing. Misty Kismet, amazing. Refreshing Evasion and Refreshing. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And then I've also got Refreshing and Sacred on my ring. So those are 2, you know, must-haves for the jewelry. And that's it. So, you know, just get... now, Sagacious stuff comes from Tempest. It's really easy to run, so get your expertise up. Start running Tempest. Most of you guys probably already have these 2 pieces. And I'll tell you what. I never thought I'd be healing without Light's Embrace, and it was really tough. Ask my company guys, you know, I was trying it out in dungeons. I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't do it without Light's Embrace. And I was about to quit and just throw in the towel. And then I just decided to give it one more chance. And I'm like, wow, it really is an amazing build. It really is amazing. So this is the gear. This is what you're going to want to use. Oh, and I also use a Void Gauntlet, you know, for obvious reasons. And Oblivion, if we don't have another Void Gauntlet. Putrefying Scream really helps, you know, when you get in a pinch. And if you're getting chased by zombies, crawlers, whatever, I hit them with that. I could run back to the tank. You know, it does help. It definitely does help. But the Oblivion is huge. Absolutely huge. So this is my gear set. If you guys have any questions, again, let me know, and we will go on to the abilities. All right, so the talent trees. So we're gonna want, this is my build, and I'm gonna put a you know, a link in the description for the build on New World Database, so you guys can have it. But this is it. So we're gonna take, in the healing tree, we're gonna take Absolved, of course, because, you know, we're gonna be constantly using light attacks and heavy attacks. Light attacks and heavy attacks both give you cooldown reduction with a couple of these perks. You know, one of them comes from Revitalize, the other one comes from Refreshing Move on your life staff. So you're going to be hitting light attacks and heavy attacks. It says right here just light attacks, but if you actually go in here to the weapon itself, Refreshing Move is light and heavy attacks. So you're going to be wanting to mix them up. And the reason, I mean, you want to do light attacks mostly, so because they're obviously quicker, you're going to get more cooldown reduction, but you're going to be using heavy attacks as well for this right here. Intensify. So Intensify, every time you hit a heavy attack on an enemy, you're going to get 1 stack of increased healing by 10%, and it stacks up to 3 times, giving you a total of 30% extra healing. If you watch my videos and you watch my fights or you watch my stream, you'll notice I'm constantly hitting heavies. Once I get 3 stacks, now sometimes it's hard to manage, sometimes it's hard to keep track, but when you can, if you can, look down at the stacks, make sure you have 3, and if you don't, get them. If your 3 are about to fall off, you have 2 seconds left, hit it with another heavy attack. You only need to do it once, and you'll maintain that 3 stacks, and that 3 stacks is actually quite a lot of extra healing. It's pretty good, so you want to try to keep that up as much as you can. But if you can't, that's okay. Continue using light attacks, get that cooldown reduction down, so that you can put another Sacred for the tank and keep them alive. Sacred is, you know, the main thing that we're going to be using here. I mean, we're going to be using all 3, but Sacred is imperative to keep down on the tank at all times. So we're going to obviously take Sacred Ground, we're going to take Holy Ground, and Anointed. Basically everything for Sacred. So stamina is going to be great to get extra stamina while in Sacred, and this is a must-have. So you're going to have to get both of these regardless. So if the tank's in Sacred Ground, they're going to be receiving 50% more healing from everything. Pots, your healing, everything. And this is the key to keeping your tank alive. This is the key. They have to stay in Sacred. And what I do on a lot of difficult boss fights is I'll actually let the tank know when I have a Sacred down, if it's going to be on them, or if I accidentally put it in the wrong spot, so they know to let the team know we're going to be rotating and the tank's going to be getting in the Sacred Ground. Because as soon as he steps out, if you're doing M10s, you know, he's going to die, or it's going to be really close. So that's one of the key things about this build is, you know, the tank and anybody else that needs healing to get in that Sacred Ground. We're also going to be taking Desperate Speed. Just, you know, it is what it is. This isn't going to be that important with, you know, without Light's Embrace, but, you know, it is still something you want, and, you know, I would just grab it. Now, Sacred Protection we take because it increases healing by 5% for everybody. Obviously, that's going to be a big one. And then, of course, we went over Intensify. The reason I don't have Mending Touch is because it doesn't work on all the stuff you want it to work on. You know, it doesn't work on the 𝙏𝙤𝙢𝙎𝙩𝙖 boss. It doesn't work on the Scylla fight and the Ren. It doesn't work on any of the good stuff. I don't even know what it does work on. So I personally don't use it. If they fix it and make it actually remove debuffs that we want to remove, I'll probably consider taking it. It would be an amazing skill. But as of now, I don't take it. And I don't take Divine Blessing either because... you know, if I was using Light's Embrace and they were below 50% health, this would be a must-have. But these are all dots or hots. You know, this is Sacred. This is just ticks. So it's not really going to work, and I can get better use of points over here. So I don't get that. I actually don't get that. Instead, I grab this because we're going to have a buff constantly. You're going to have a buff the whole fight. So this is just basically saying extra 10% heals. So we want that. I also want this, Bend Light. I use that all the time. You're going to be wearing light gear. You're going to be dodging. You're going to have to dodge regardless. You don't even have to remember to dodge, you know, to get this 20% healing, because you're going to be dodging all the time. You're in light. You cannot be getting hit. So that's what I grab. I'd have to either sacrifice, you know, this or this to, you know, get Divine Blessing. And this right here is huge. So Life Staff buffs you grant last 20% longer. All of our... Hey. Jeez, he took my... You see that? What the hell? I'm sorry, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. No. That is so funny. Hey. Hyperion Blaze. So, hey, welcome to the video. You're gonna be seen by probably 5 people. No, more than that, hopefully. So anyway, where were we? Jeez. So yeah, buffs. We're gonna want Glowing Focus. It's amazing. You know, all of these things are basically buffs. They're all gonna last 20% longer. It's just something you want. Now Beacon, we're gonna grab Beacon in both of these. We don't need the extra speed, but we do want the Beacon to be 50% bigger. And we also want it to last 5 seconds longer. I mean, that's a no-brainer. And then Orb of Protection, we grab everything. Everybody knows what Orb of Protection does. We're also going to grab this so that they gain recovery. So there's your healing that you're going to get from Orb. And also, if you heal somebody with, you know, Orb of Protection, you're also going to get Fortify and the heal over time. And then lastly, Aegis, when the projectile hits, it affects all allies within a 3-meter radius. So it just makes it easier to use with the group, and that's all you're going to be doing, you know, lots of group healing. So these are the abilities and the perks that I get, and we'll take a look at the Void Gauntlet just briefly. So I've been using Void Blade because I get to, you know, in Lazarus, when you do the 3 different rooms, I get to add, you know, to the DPS. On Chartis, I get to add to the DPS, and it actually does a lot. It also does an AoE heal. You know, it's just, or self-healing, and then with this, it does an AoE heal. And I think it's really, really good. I like it. You know, you don't have to take Void Blade The only thing you really have to take with this build is Oblivion. Oblivion is amazing. I can't overstate how powerful this ability is for PvE. The main reason I mean, there's two big things about this. First of all, if you spec all the way into it, everybody in there is gonna have stamina regeneration, extra stamina. Okay, so what is this guy doing? I don't know. So anyway, stamina regeneration, that is huge. It's huge for the tank, it's huge for your DPS so they can dodge. I mean, it's an amazing ability. And also, you know, it's going to give everybody empower. So on those boss fights, on any fights, you know, everybody's going to be doing much more damage. So it's crazy. Everything else, that's up to you. I'm not going to really focus and spend too much time on this side of the equation because it just, you know, get Oblivion and you're good. That's pretty much all I have to say about the Void Blade. Or Void Gauntlet. It's a great weapon. It's a great support weapon. I'm still going to play around with Orb of Decay. I'm still going to play around with Rupture a little bit. I don't really mess around too much with Baleful Tether. Now Scream, I will talk a little bit about Scream. Scream's amazing. It's really good for escaping. You know, if you're going to be pulling tons of aggro with this healing build, it is just so powerful. And even with the best tank in the world, you're going to be pulling aggro. It's going to happen. And if you're getting chased by a crawler or anything really, you hit him with the Scream. It gives the tank time to react and you know, pull him, or you can run to the tank, which is what you're supposed to do. If you're getting chased by an enemy, hit him with the Scream, run to the tank, and he'll pull him off you. Absolutely. So this is a must-have for me. I really, really like it. I'll probably never going back to something else. I'm always going to have Petrifying Scream and Oblivion. So that's it for the skills. Okay, so attributes. Attributes, you know, there's a couple different things you can do here. Now, when I use my food, and this is the food that I use, the rabbit. So we're using roasted rabbit with seasoned vegetables. It's the 40 con food. You know, need I say anything more? So when I use that, it's going to put me at 150 con, and I'm still going to have 360 focus. This build is going to require a minimum of, I think, 350 focus. I wouldn't run any more than 3 or any less than 350. That's just me. And then the rest I put in con. Now, you know, the guys that told me about this build, they're the same guys that I run the M10s with. They are amazing. They're knowledgeable. You know, they're great. They're great. You know, you'll see videos that I'm in with these guys running these mutations, and they, like I said, we speed run M10s, you know, over and over and over. So I'm taking everything that they say, you know, I'm just taking it to heart. I'm not taking it with a grain of salt. And they told me about this build, and I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. I can't do this build without Lights Embrace. And they're like, trust me, dude, you can. You just have to have a good group. You have to have a good group that can stay together. If your whole group's melee, it helps even more. You can still do it with range. And I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys some footage of me doing this build with range too. But anyway, so 350 focus and, you know, 150 con is perfect. On some of the fights, like in Lazarus, I can run with 100 con, and I'll put, you know, 410 focus and just run 100 con. I'll never run 50 con. There's a lot of guys out there that do run 50 con. Maybe if you're doing wars, invasions, whatever, you can. But in these dungeons, you get hit so hard with light gear, you're gonna want to have at least 100 con, if not 150. Like in Dynasty, I run 150. If I run 100, I get one shot by Isabella. So 150 to 100, everything else in focus. We don't need 50 dex for crit, just everything else in focus, and either 100 or 150 con. And well, that's all I got to say about the attributes. So how do you play this build? I'm going to show you guys some footage. I'm just going to play the Scylla fight that I did because I'm using this build. It showcases, you know, the power of this build very well. And, you know, I might throw in some other footage too, but as the video's playing, as you guys are watching the gameplay, I'm going to kind of explain what I do and how I heal it. I mean, it's actually pretty easy. You just have to get good at dodging, and, you know, being aware of your surroundings is going to also be huge. That's going to help a lot. You got to be aware of your surroundings. You got to know when you have aggro. You, if you're getting hit by archers, you have to line of sight. You have to hide behind something, stop getting hit, and pot up or throw a beacon on yourself or something. So it's really, you have to be paying a lot of attention to this build. But as far as the healing goes, It's pretty simple. You point at the ground, you shoot all your you know, your AoEs and stuff, and that's it. That's it. It takes care of itself. If somebody needs heals, they're going to run to the circle. If they don't run to the circle, if they just stand there and bleed to death, then they shouldn't be in your group anyway. You know, everybody knows how the healing works in this game, and if you're getting attacked, you got to run to the green stuff. I mean, how long have us healers been saying get to the green stuff? I used to tell people all the time, you know, when we were running depths and we were running, you know, Starstone and those early dungeons, I would tell people right off the bat, listen guys, if you're dead and there's green stuff next to you, play a different game because you don't understand the basic concepts of this game. Green stuff equals health. If you have health, if you don't have health, you got to go get health. You got to run to the green circles. But anyway, let's get on with the build and some gameplay and how to actually, you know, heal with this build. All right, so to kick it off, we're going to talk about how I start the fights. I start the fight by immediately using a Orb of Protection. It gives everybody Fortify. If anybody does take damage right off the bat, it's going to be mitigated, and then I'll immediately throw a beacon on everybody. And that gets the HOTS rolling. Again, everybody's got Fortify, so it's going to mitigate a lot of damage in the very beginning, and then I'll throw Sacred on the tank. I will never use Sacred on myself unless I'm absolutely about to die. I've got no other option. Then I will use it on myself. But as soon as it's off cooldown, I'll immediately put it back on the tank. So Orb of Protection I use to save myself sometimes. If somebody gets caught out, I'll either throw an orb or a beacon at them, but you always save your Sacred Ground for the tank. And I still use targeted healing. I don't take targeted healing off because when I do take targeted healing off, if they're up above on like some stairs and I'm down below, I can't see where the Sacred Ground's going. And if I shoot it in the wrong direction or place it in the wrong spot, the tank has to completely reposition. The whole group is going to get hit most likely because the tank's going to move, and it doesn't work for me. So I aim my crosshairs at the tank, and I hit F for the Sacred Ground, and it gets right on the tank. No matter where he's standing, if he dodges really quick or uses Leaping Strike, the Sacred will follow him and put it where he's at. So it's really, really nice with targeted healing on. So that's what I do to start off the fights. I just throw an orb down, throw a beacon, and then immediately use Sacred Ground. So the nice thing about this build is, you know, you've got so much AoE healing, it is insane. With the high amount of focus, being in light gear, with that big, huge increase to our percentage of healing, it's just so much power that if you are low health, all you have to do is just step in the Sacred just for a second and you're full health, because you've got Sacred, you've got Beacon going. They're both so strong with this build. That's all it takes. You don't need a Light's Embrace to heal somebody. All they have to do is just run over, step their foot in Sacred, and then step back out and go back to DPSing. It is so easy. So if you get in trouble, it is kind of nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie. I still panic when I'm super low health. I don't have Light's Embrace, and I have to choose, you know, between my 3 available heals, you know, and it's not going to heal me immediately. It's going to take a second because I'm not standing in all 3 heals like everybody else is. You know, if I take a lot of damage and I'm about to die, if I put a beacon down, it's going to take a few minutes, you know, or not a few minutes, a few seconds to heal me up. If I hit an orb on myself, same thing. It's just going to take even longer because the regen is not that strong. So that's the only thing I really worry about with this build. And, you know, I don't really want to run back to the Sacred where the group is because I'm probably going to get hit by something. So if you take a lot of damage, you get caught out, you get aggro, and you don't know what to do, beacon yourself, put an Orb of Protection on yourself, or use a pot, or all the above. If your pot's on cooldown, you're going to have to use beacon or orb, or if it's life and death, you know, just hit yourself with a Sacred. I just use my self-heal button, Sacred, it drops it right down at my feet, and then I'll just go back to hitting the mobs so I can get Sacred back immediately and put it back on the group. But if that happens, you know, the group's usually fine. I mean, there's still a Sacred over there because you've got so much refreshing, so much cooldown reduction. It's easy to get that Sacred, you know, back up again. So I'm not gonna lie, it is literally that easy to heal. As long as you know how to dodge, as long as you can pay attention to your surroundings, you can get away with this build, and it is just crazy strong. You guys gotta try it out. I want you guys to try it out. Let me know what you think, And you know, as long as your group knows to get in sacred if they take damage, then everything's fine. Oh, and they have to know if they get hit, you know, if they get cleaved or they get hit, you know, by Scylla, whatever, they have to back off and stop DPSing until they're full health again. As long as they know that, and to get in sacred for heals, you know, you really should be fine. Now, just a couple things here and there. You can play this build in medium. There's absolutely nothing wrong with medium. You're just going to be healing less. Your dodge isn't going to be as far. You're going to have an extra dodge, which actually could come in handy. So if you're going to do a fight, or you're not quite geared, or you're just not confident that you can pull this off, try medium. There's nothing wrong with it. But heavy healing, that's the days of old for dungeons. You need lots of heals. Now, heavy might be good for PvP still. In fact, I'm sure it probably is. But for dungeons, I think this is the way to go. Light, 100 to 150 con, and just crazy ass big, you know what, heals. It is insane. And a word about aggro. Again, if you get aggro, run to the tank. Don't run around in circles. Try to get to the tank. He can't just stop what he's doing and run all the way to you when you're screaming, help, help, I need help, I'm getting aggro. Run to the tank. It's hard not to panic. It's hard not to yell for help. But once you get in the habit, you'll just know, run to the tank. That's the only way he can save you, is if you run to him and bring the mob to him. And don't forget about your petrifying scream. That helps a lot when you have aggro. Just turn around, hit scream, dodge away, run to the tank, get some heals, you know, because you're going to be in your sacred, and you should be good to go. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, again, let me know in the comments. If you know, you have some suggestions, you know, anything, maybe you'd put a point here instead of there, you know, let me know in the comments. And again, hit me up in Discord if you want some more information about it. I'd love to chat with you guys. And well, you know how I do it. Have a great day, guys, and be safe. Bye-bye.